There we go. I wasn't recording this for the folks that couldn't make it. All right, back to it. So here's our job 10601. What it defaults to is the information that you get via the email, i.e. this is the information that the scheduling team puts into this job. We go right down the left-hand side. If I've got any files or notices, I can click on those here. Again, be using Google Chrome. And you notice here on the top right, it says if you want the latest version of the viewer, you can click here. If you're having trouble opening these files, if it's not working this easily, something's wrong with your Google Chrome. It may be blocking it. You may be using Internet Explorer, but that's how quick and easy it should be. So at this point, you can download this, or you can print it out and bring it to the deposition. That's typically what I always did in case they want to mark it as an exhibit. I simply close out of here and I'm back in to ServiceLink. Now the notes section, similar to Analyzer, gives you the ability to look at any job-specific notes, location, action information, law firm contact. Now, there's nothing in there for these, but a good example of that would be, say, Mark Tannenbaum under law firm or contact. It would say that he requests whatever. It's very specific. PDF sent via Dropbox, you know, the second day after the deposition, something like that. Provider progress. This is where you're going to be entering information while you're on site at the job. So once you get to the job, it's highly important that you check in. And just as you're done with the deposition, it's equally as important to check out, okay? So this reporter did check out of the job, but that's all that she's done at this point. Well, I need a lot more than this, and I'll give you the why behind that real quick. If you don't click off transcript here, I am going to assume that they did not order a transcript for this case. We will not be tracking it or anything, and all of a sudden 7 days from now when you go to finish this up, it'll finally show up on our end. So it is very important that you come in and say, okay, they did get a transcript. It's approximately 45 pages. It's an 0-2, and I said on my video that you did not need to fill in the deliver by, and evidently you do. That's a glitch in their system that they're working on because it should flow from the deliver by that the scheduling team has put in directly into this field, but it is not. So you would look back on your email, or we could probably even go up here. Let me save this real quick and go into the details of this job and see confirmed. So no. Deliver by 7/31. Okay. So I'll come back in my provider progress, change this to 7/31. Now, again, seems duplicative that you would have to do that, and I apologize, but it is a glitch they're working on. The programming side of this, the reason that they did this is that if a job changes to an expedite, this is your way of notifying us. That's another question that has come up from many reporters saying, well, hey, this thing all of a sudden turned into a 3-day expedite. How am I supposed to let you know that? Do I need to call? Do I need to email? And I think for now, number one, you would change this delivery to a 3-day or 2-day, whatever it is. And you would go ahead and email the production department with the subject line, job number, change to expedite. And again, the only reason I'm doing that is until we work out the internal kinks here, we want to make sure that those deadlines obviously get met. This is a regular delivery, so I'm changing it to deliver by 7/31. I have no idea the number of exhibits for this job, but if you were the reporter, you would obviously know. If all of a sudden it turned video or rough disk, that's where you would put this information. And then our checkout notes. This checkout notes is really the grail area, if you will, for you to communicate anything to us. This area has basically an unlimited amount of text that you can throw in there. Now, when I say that, that doesn't mean write us a novel. We're all shorthand reporters, so be brief and to the point so that we can get the idea quick. And a good example of what would go in here is, let's say the opposing side is not ordering. I could say, all right, John Smith, no order of transcript. That's a question that's come up because we can't add him. We can add him to the attorney's present area, which you will need to do, but he's not going to get an order because as soon as you put in an order, that actually creates an invoice. It's not sent, of course, until Linda looks at it and approves it. and the production people send out the job. But if we put in there that Jay Smith was getting a transcript, or if we even created a column that said no order, it would automatically create that invoice, which we don't want it to do. So I'm going to delete that note for now, and I'm going to come down here and save.
Dave, I have a quick question. This is Eric.
Hey, Eric.
Hey, and it briefly logged me off, so I hope you didn't already go over this. But is that where we would put like a technical designation for expert witness?
That's exactly where you would put that.
Okay, and then you touched on this earlier, but sometimes I'll have like an old school attorney or somebody he'll say PDF only, and he'll put a lot of emphasis on the only. Do we still want to mark that in the notes, or just go with a standard electronic order?
The standard electronic order is fine for that, because bottom line, what they get is truly a link. So maybe it would be helpful if I show everybody what that link looks like. Let me do that real quick. So basically, Eric, what we do to just simplify that is we add in every possible file any attorney in the world would actually want or need. So let me stop sharing this. Come into here. Don't worry, Debrina, your hair looks good. I'm sorry, I couldn't resist myself on that. All right, here we go. So this is what a link looks like that comes to the attorney. So they have the ability here. I mean, literally, they get a link that's this URL. They click on it and they come in and say, okay, well, I want my E-Trans. I'm going to download that, or I want my ASCII and a LiveNote file, and I hit download. Same philosophy goes for the exhibits. All of their exhibits are in here. They can click on one or select all and download them. They can view them from here. They can search them because they've all been OCR'd. So that's why when they say, well, I want to make sure I get my PDF, well, here's all your PDF options. So you can decide however and whatever you want to download. Does that make sense, Eric?
It does, thank you. And is that also where we would put exhibit tracking numbers?
Yes. So that is the true area to put any and all notes that need to come to the office. There is no other area. And, we have, as a management team, discussed this ad nauseum. We really want to try and get away from the AWR internal paperwork. The only other option for notes would be for you all to upload, say, a PDF that's got written notes in it. And I just don't see the need, seeing that you can put that into that checkout notes section.
Sure. I was just checking. Linda told me she doesn't actually see what goes in that notes box, but that was almost a week ago, so maybe that's changed.
Yeah, she can see those, but a good example of that is the technical question. So if it's a technical job and the pre-biller sees that, they would change your coding from 0-1 original to 0-1 technical. So they would grab that, it would come to Linda, she would bill it as a technical, and we're trying to eliminate her even having to go back and look at those notes. But yes, if there's an area that she's got a question, she now has access to get there through that note section.
Great, thank you.
You're welcome.
Dave, this is Leslie.
Hey, Leslie.
Hey, I had a question about that checkout section pertaining to a job I did last week that it was a network job for DTI, and the other side had an issue with ordering a copy through them.
Mm-hmm.
So we were able to work it out that we could produce his copy and charge him our copy rate.
Right.
So I'm guessing that checkout note is the best place to note that, but is there anything else that needs to be done other than noting it there, just to make sure there's no problem when
Right.
the copy is produced?
No, that's an awesome question. Let me finish through a normal job, and then I'm going to address that, because I'm actually going to do a network job, because everybody's got that same question.
Okay, sure.
Okay. All right. So I'm going to go back to my screen. And again, here we are. We're done with this area. So I'm going to hit save. And please realize that as soon as you all click the save button, it refreshes here in the office. That's the beauty of this product, is that you can do it in piecemeal. You can do it at the end of the job. You can do it as soon as you get home, and it's constantly notifying us that there's been updates to this job. And of course, from the exhibit station area, i.e. Sarah, she has to have these attorneys' orders before she can move forward on whether an attorney is getting scanned exhibits or hard copy exhibits. Everything is the same in that room in terms of needing the worksheets in advance. Granted, now they're only electronic.
Dave, quick question.
Yeah.
If I just upload a copy of the FedEx thingy, the tracker, can I forego having to put the tracking number in the checkout notes?
Yeah. Yeah, I think you could do that. I don't see any problem with that. Hold on real quick. I can't hear you.
If they get lost, then what are you
Well,
gonna do?
No. She's saying if she takes the receipt from the FedEx and uploads that, she don't want to have to type it. She can just take a picture of it, scan it in, and put it in there. Honestly, yeah, and that's a great idea, Saul.
I have an input on it. It's Jen.
Hey, Jen.
They have to let us know whose account it's being billed on, though, because Linda, she needs to know if it's being charged to AWR or if it's being charged to the network.
Right. So on network jobs, but doesn't it say that on that slip?
No. I asked her.
Say?
There's absolutely
Okay.
no way of knowing unless they tell us.
Okay, so maybe Saul on those just right at the top, sent via whatever Veritex FedEx account.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. All right, so now we're back to our worksheet area here, and we've obviously already dealt with this first section. Again, expenses, really you can skip right past that onto your witness area. Here's Deshelle Bryant, and I don't know if Kelly is on this call or not, but I'm just going to be putting fictitious numbers in here. So this, of course, is where you're going to be putting more your finalized numbers. Let's say this job ended up being 47 pages. They are going to read and sign, and I'm sending it to Deshelle Bryant, and I'm just putting this in so that Kelly can come clean this up, or the production people can. Again, exhibits, this is where that information would go along with video, and I hit save. I can add my witnesses, and this way if we were only total of one and you ended up having to take two more, add all that information in here. Attorneys present. When we first went live with ServiceLink, they were still copying over the database. They were having to do that in chunks by day. It ended up being over 65,000 lawyers inside of the system. So when you are searching for these lawyers, you need a little more than if it's Albert L. Smith, type ALBE. Don't type A and wait for it to sit there and try and find that information. Right, yeah, you can't type the whole thing either. So it's Boolean search is what they call that. So if I know my attorney's name is Aaron D. Dean, I could search Dean and it would pull up all of them. I could search Aaron, etc. So here's her information. Those of you who get to a job and they don't have a business card and they're the taking attorney, or even the other side as well, you can find out their law firm information, address, email, all of that is right here, okay? So again, I'm going to add an attorney to this. And I'm going to go to this select existing attorney. Okay. I'm sorry, what did you say?
We got to do a COD. I forgot about that.
All right.
We forgot about talking about that process. How they notify.
So somebody just said that we need to possibly do a COD. So here's Drew Butler. Okay, so I'm going to select him. Again, it gives me all that information. Who they represent is helpful for us to know. You would go in and hit save at this point. I'm going to cancel it so it doesn't add it. Orders. Aaron Dean, start new order. Okay, all this is saying is bill to Aaron Dean, ship to Aaron Dean. That 99% of the time, that's what it's going to be here. In the rare instance that you all actually have somebody say, hey, bill this on to Marie L. Smith at Geico, okay, put that in the notes. We'll clean that up. We're not worried about you all having to put that in here. So I'm going to take these one by one because we've had a lot of questions about it, and I'm sure you all have them too. Why are there so many appearance fees here? Appearance fees vary by state, okay? So obviously, majority of our work is in South Carolina. So if you're taking a job in South Carolina, this is what you're going to pick. North Carolina, they bill by half day, full day. I don't like the way that reads currently. I'd rather it say North Carolina, so I'll probably have someone change that. But a half day constitutes anything less, I think it's 8 in the morning to 1 p.m. is a half day. 1 p.m. to 6 p.m. is a half day. So in other words, if you take a job from 2 to 4, that's a half day. Full day is anything that merges between the two. That's a little confusing, but I made sure and I asked Linda, if a job starts at 10 o'clock in the morning and ends at 2:30, is that considered half day or full day? And she bills that as a full day. Okay, so it's a flat fee in North Carolina. Canceled post-arrival, that means you arrived at the job and it canceled. Appearance fee transcript minimum. Again, for those of you in both states, if you go to a job and the job is only 5 pages because it's a statement written on the record, you can put this transcript minimum because there is a minimum that you're going to get paid on that. To me, it's kind of hard to remember that. So if you put hourly, it's all right. We're going to clean that up. But for those of you wanting to know what that means, there's a minimum as soon as you walk in the door on billables. Now we get to our next phase here, which is the transcripts. For me, it's easiest to go right to the 0-1. So again, what are we focused on? We're trying to figure out, is the person getting paper or paper and electronic? So is anyone who orders an original transcript automatically gets a copy? That's just how the rules work. Okay, so you don't need to put 0-1 and then come back in and put a copy. They automatically get that. The reason there are 2 here is that this 0-1 implies that they're getting paper. This 0-1 implies that they're receiving their copy in electronic form. Okay? So again, no reason to do 0-1 and then they're getting a copy. They're only going to get an original or a copy. For our copies, again, this implies paper. This implies electronic. Same with exhibits. They want electronic, they want paper, or they want both. If there's color, please include the color as well. Now, the reason you all see the video fees is that the videographers actually use ServiceLink as well. Obviously, you won't be concerned with the hourly fee, but you will be concerned with getting the video orders, okay? Just like you had to put on your worksheet, whether they were receiving the original or a copy, the same goes here. So copy, original master, and text synchronize. You've got to choose those on videographer orders. Appearance fee after hours. If you're at a deposition after 6 p.m. and before 8 a.m., that would be the appearance fee after hours. It is higher. Now, the rest of these, of course, if you brought a laptop, real time, a rough draft, include that as well, okay? This standing order, we have not published all the database information into the new ServiceLink. We're still working on that and have to do that manually. What that is going to be is, again, somebody like Drew Butler, who says, I always want an original and electronic and scanned exhibits. I don't care about anything else paper. That will go there so that you will be able to click on it and it will funnel in all those products automatically for you. Any questions on a normal AWR job here?
I have one, Dave.
Okay.
If it's well, I'm not sure if you constitute this as normal, but if it's a network job and we ship the exhibits to them, do you want us to put any indication of exhibit orders in there?
No. And we'll talk all specifics about networks here in just a second.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Wait, I just thought of something. So let's say it's a regular order and then a rough draft.
Yep.
Can I put multiple things, or do I have to save after each order?
You got to save, well, not after each order, after each product. So you would come in and say, we know this will have that. We'll come in and now add original And you would just keep going through adding your orders. Because think of it like kind of like QuickBooks and how a bill looks. It's designated by item and how much that item costs to equal a total. So each one has to be come in separate.
Got it.
Okay. Anything else there? Perfect. All right, I'm going to hit save. Well, let me get rid of this. Now remember, I can save as many times as I want because I've not completed this worksheet. To complete this worksheet, I'll hit complete worksheet. But again, this is kind of a glitch. It would be nice to have a section 6 here that's for uploads, but remember, we've got to upload any files or ASCIIs at the very beginning. And to do that, we go to add, drag and drop whatever files you want in here and hit next. I'm going to cancel that. But don't forget, you can't complete the worksheet until you upload that file. All right, so I'm going to go back to my jobs. And of course, it's going to still show incomplete because I've not finalized and put up an ASCII. That's fine. And also, while we're here, you're receiving automatic emails and or text messages, say, on worksheets. Well, if you've already completed your worksheet, just delete that email. Bottom line, that email, unfortunately, we can't turn off until the job has been shipped and billed. So if you know that you've sent in a job and you've completed that worksheet, just delete it, ignore it, okay? Nobody's sitting here behind a desk trying to taunt y'all with text messages, I assure you. So here's a network job from McCorkle Court Reporting. Everybody's been kind of doing this a different way, so I'll try and get right to the nuts and bolts of it and go directly to the notes section. So the notes section here, of course, would be, okay, we now see that the law firm in this instance is McCorkle, and then they've got 2 notes. So here are all my transcript guidelines, and here's also my production guidelines. So it's important to look at those. In terms of your worksheet, what we have decided after you enter in all of this information is that instead of having to put and manually put in all these out-of-state attorneys and create them in attorneys present, you're only going to have the one caller from that firm here, and that's all that's going to be in the orders as well. Instead, all you have to do is take McCorkle's paperwork or our old worksheet, some firms are okay to use those, and upload them. So if you have uploaded their worksheet, say for 4 attorneys ordering, that's where that information will go here, and the production department will enter the rest of it in here for you, okay? So in other words, it doesn't make any sense for you all to have to duplicate and not only fill out paperwork, but then go in and actually add them into the database with their first, last name, phone number, address, all that stuff, okay? So don't worry about it. As long as there's paperwork, and if there's not paperwork, use the old AWR forms, upload them here, and we'll take it from there. Does that make sense to everybody? Okay, let me look at my notes here. Eric, what was your question a few minutes ago on the network stuff?
My question was just if you sent the exhibits to the network firm, do you still need to indicate exhibit orders?
Got it. Okay. No, you do not. So you would indicate that on the worksheet, but not manually enter that into the system.
Okay.
Okay. Great question.
I have a question, another question, sorry. Whether it's network or whether it's AWR jobs, is there a way to figure out if I have everything or if I need anything before I complete the worksheet?
All right. Say that one more time, Saul. You kind of bleeped out on me.
Okay, so say it's a network worksheet or an AWR job, either way. Before I complete the worksheet where it gets to the point where I don't have to, where we can't change anything, is there a way for me not to do that, and before I do that, actually find out if I'm missing something or if I have to change something, or if
there's really not the only way. I mean, when you hit the complete worksheet, It will then give you the opportunity to look over everything one more time. I would just kind of slow down there and make sure you know that you've added all your attorneys, you've added their orders, or you've added the worksheets on a network job, and then hit complete, that little checkbox that comes up. But there is no real way at the end there that it comes back and says, hey, wait a minute, you forgot X, Y, Z.
Okay.
All right, let me just look at my notes here because they're pretty lengthy here. 1 second. Okay. Also on network jobs, this has come up as a question. Again, I have these network forms at this location for you all to save. I am in the process of migrating, say, for DTI work so that these forms get attached into Solaria so that you no longer have to go there. That's all having to manually be done, and unfortunately it's not as easy as, oh, okay, we'll just attach it once and it's good. We have to do that each time, and we're working on that. So I appreciate everybody's patience on it.
David, this is Jan.
Hey, Jan.
I have a quick question. Maybe I missed it and you already said that. But back on the network stuff, when we, what do we enter in for the order portion?
Okay. So for the order portion, you're not going to do anything except for come in here for Jennifer Cozy. Actually, you don't even have to do that. We are going to do it. So the worksheets will serve as the orders page on network jobs. So we're trying to eliminate the AWR paperwork, but we can't eliminate the network firms. And so it makes more sense to me. You have to fill out the paperwork anyway. There's no sense going back in and then entering new attorneys into our database that aren't even going to be there. So just put the orders on the worksheet. The production will take it from there.
So we don't do anything under like the Jennifer Cozy that's up there on the screen?
Right. Don't do anything on it.
Okay. Oh, that
Okay.
makes it really easy. Thank you.
It does. And there was a question earlier today that probably would be, I can't think of what it was right now. It'll come to me. So yeah, does that make sense, Jan?
It
Okay.
does. Thank you.
Okay. In terms of when you're uploading these worksheets, if you could follow the same criteria as you are with your ASCII files, meaning job number _ final worksheet, something that indicates, hey, this is a worksheet that I as a reporter did and uploaded here. Because when we name them, we're just naming them worksheet or WKST. If you could just name it final _ worksheet, that'd be great. Okay. Here's another note from someone. Where do I put notes? So we've already covered the fact that inside of this job, when you check in and out, it's got a note section for when you check in. That's just going to be more if you need to communicate something to the scheduling department. The whole rationale behind the check-in is that if we get a call 20 minutes before the deposition from the paralegal saying, hey, my attorney called me, the court reporter's not there, we can actually pull up a screen that says, well, actually, Jan Shepard's already checked into her job and she's notified us. If they moved you, it was supposed to be in conference room B and they all of a sudden move you to conference room C, that would be a check-in note. Otherwise, use all other production order-related issues in the checkouts section. Okay. When? Yep.
Hey, it's Susan. So for an AWR job, and if it's expedited, and each attorney wants it on a different day, for delivery day, we would put in, and then just put in the note section who wants what when.
Yeah, exactly.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's a good question because that does come up. So yeah, you would put the deliver by at the earliest date so that, hey, it's a big red flag. This thing's due this Friday, July 21st. If the other attorney says, I don't need it till the 25th or the 26th, you could put that in the checkout notes section. Great question.
Because there's no drop down for expedited.
Right. That's the only place to change it to expedited is on that delivery by.
Okay.
David, this is Jan again.
Yeah.
If we are reporting a job that's already in our files, I mean, it's we've already taken depositions in the case, would we find a word list or anything attached in Solaria in like the notes section if there was one? Or are we doing that at all?
They are working on how to do that. Currently,
Okay.
ServiceLink does not have the ability to create word lists from multiple files. We're working with them and the guys at YesLaw to try and develop that and add it to each job. But that was something that was really, really cool that Analyzer did that this product just does not do.
Okay. Okay. Thanks, David.
Sure. One thing that's come up is time off. Everybody's really doing a good job of inputting their time off for doctor's appointments, vacations, etc. Do me a personal favor and try and get that stuff at least 48 hours out. What I'm noticing is that I'm going to do the calendar, which the calendar takes me significantly longer in this program. It used to take me about an hour and a half to 2 hours at most in Analyzer. This is taking me more like 3.5 hours to do. I'm hoping that with time that gets easier. But if I've started the calendar, say at 2 o'clock, and then all of a sudden somebody goes on to ServiceLink and says, oh, I can't work tomorrow, and they don't even put a reason, you know, you might hear a phone call from the scheduler saying Dave wants to know if you can work because he's already assigned you to something. So it's be kind of specific, off doctor's appointments, off, you know, just putting off doesn't really help me out. Or if you're whatever, getting your teeth done from 8 to 9, be detailed on that.
All day, not 8 a.m.
Yeah, and if you're out all day for doctor's appointments, you can just click all day instead of putting 8 to 7. Okay, so I wanted to get some feedback from you guys. Currently, and you probably all noticed this, at the end of the day, you're receiving an email that's coming from me, and you're also receiving an email notifying you that you have a job in ServiceLink. The idea behind ServiceLink is to lessen steps in every regard in this business. I'd like to, as of tomorrow, no longer send an actual email to you notifying you of a job. You should receive notifications via ServiceLink. If you go into your actual manage email settings, you can see what that is default to set up as, and you can change it however you want. So here is one that I can say, well, my transcript due, I want it emailed and texted, or I don't want it texted. You can do however you want to do on this. Is there anybody out there, am I missing something? But I just felt like you guys getting notified twice at the end of the day of a job was a little much. Anybody got an issue with that or something maybe I'm not thinking of? All right, well, that went well.
Dave, this is Lauren.
Hey.
Hey. So the only thing with that is, are you still going to send out the email that says that we're an alternate or no job?
Yes, definitely.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, they'll definitely send you that. That email will definitely come through.
And it will still be by 5:30 with the ServiceLink thing?
Yeah, that's what we're shooting for. As you probably all could tell the last 30 days, sometimes it's been more like 6 o'clock. That's just because it's taking us, like I said, about 50% longer than it normally did to do the calendar. But yeah, you should receive some notification, whether you have a job or an alternate, or, hey, your file, confirm this job on ServiceLink. If you don't receive one of those, call the emergency line.
And make sure you confirm your job when you get it so that we know you got the information and you're going to be at your job.
Hey, Dave, when we get emails that say that there are files ready to be downloaded through Solaria, it's usually ways after the job has been assigned, but it's still, I'm sure it's probably related to our assignments. Is that anything special, or is it just something from the notes section?
No, it's just once I hit that button at the very end of the day, typically around 5:15, I send a notification out that says, hey, all your files are now on ServiceLink. And the reason that it comes out so late like that is that at 3 o'clock, I may have you, Jan, assigned to something that then cancels at 4 and I move you to something else. So there's a way for me to auto do it so it happens automatically, but I just found that too confusing for you all from a reporting standpoint of saying, all right, well, wait a minute, I just got these files for tomorrow and now that just changed 40 minutes later and, oh, well, now there's no job. I mean, it changes so much, the calendar, by the minute, especially at the end of the day.
Sure, we know that. I want to make sure I wasn't missing a file that I was supposed to know about.
Gotcha.
Dave, I'm not
Yep.
sure if I'm missing something, but I don't think Solaria sends me an email when I get scheduled for a job.
You should. You definitely should be getting something directly from me. It's just a job confirmation at the end of the day.
Oh, yes, I definitely get your emails. You were saying you were maybe going to stop sending those emails and just rely on the Solaria alert?
Right. Okay, so you're not receiving one of those alerts?
Right, I get the job files ready. Is that what you're referring to?
That's what I'm referring to.
Okay,
Yep.
okay.
Yeah. I've got a
So
note.
sorry.
No, go ahead.
So if we're assigned to 2 jobs, we will just get 1 email about the job files ready, correct?
Well, actually, it will come. I'm not sure about that, to be honest. I think that would come through twice because it's
Okay.
job files associated by each job number.
Okay.
But regardless, once you go in for the first job, you'll see the other one that you'll see. Oh, I got 2 jobs to confirm.
Got it.
And somebody asked me this yesterday. They went in last night to confirm a job, and it had already been confirmed. And the reason why you may see that occasionally is if, let's say I call Eric and say, hey, Eric, I got an issue. I need you to go, into Edgeville, South Carolina tomorrow. So we wanted to notify you on the phone. Can you cover it? Yes. Okay. Then we go ahead and confirm that you confirmed that job. That's why that happens.
Okay.
Okay.
Dave, will you go back to the attorney section on the service link and pull in a COD lawyer so that they can see it and just go through the process that they have to notify Michelle with the job number and who that client is so that we can start to get the credit card authorization?
I can do my best. I may have to pass the baton to Karen on that because frankly, I'm on the COD. He's wanting to know the exact steps that the court reporters need to do for a COD.
Right. Well, let's see first if we can pull somebody in and if it shows them that they're COD.
Okay. All right. So we're going to add our good friend Walter Bilbrow. And if any of you have had depositions with him, you know why he's COD. There he is. So Walter Bilbrow, save. So I come to my orders now. Let's see if he shows up COD.
Okay. Well, we'll have to get with Terry on that.
Okay, that's for another time. We'll have to look because basically what Dad is wondering here is it should say in red, like in our system it says in red COD, which should trigger to you all to know that, hey, this guy's COD. But we'll come back to that. All right, well, good. Well, are there any other questions at this point?
Dave, this is Eric. There was I don't know if you saw it in the chat, but Laura Bash had a question.
Oh, I did not see it.
I can read it to you if you want.
That'd be great.
So do we have any way to access PDF or ASCIIs from jobs already taken? I know no word lists, but we used to be able to view ASCIIs.
Right. I don't think so, Laura. I don't think so. It does show your ASCII files that you have done, but hold on a second. Let me look here. Directory, actions. Okay, here we go. So you actually can come into your actions. And let's see what's in here. Files. I don't think so, Laura, but I'm not positive. That'd be more of a Terry at Solaria question. So I'll write down on access to previous transcripts and exhibits. That's because that would be very helpful, obviously. Any other text up there that I didn't see because mine goes full screen?
Michelle Becker just sent one in that says, where do you put the read and sign info?
Okay, good question. So the read and sign info, if we go back into our job worksheet, okay, so we're here in this section 3 witness. This is where we update the number of pages. You
We
click
can't
off.
see your screen, Dave.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, hold on. You come back into, how about now? You good?
Yes.
All right, so you come back into the actual worksheet under this section 3 for by witness and read and sign and put their address in here. Again, try and be pushing for email notification and email read and signs instead of hard copies. We have found that when we email these files to them, we usually get it back within about 10 days. It used to be we get those back within about 30 days. It was always pushing the 30-day limit. This is much more effective to send it this way.
Hey, Dave, this isn't really related to the Solaria stuff, but when we're on network jobs, do the networks have any, like we usually didn't do a read and sign, mail directly to the client list, their attorney ordered a copy? Do we need to worry about anything like that in our network jobs?
Yes, that was the other question that Leslie asked that I forgot to answer. So on network jobs, and you get there, and typically it's a workers' comp job, and the South Carolina attorney says, I'm not ordering it from XYZ firm. I want to order it from AWR. You'll recall in the network jobs we discussed earlier that you would upload the worksheets. Well, that is the only time that you would actually enter in an order would be in that instance. So if Dusty Road here in Charleston said, hey, I'm glad to buy the transcript, but I'm only going through you guys, you would add him as an order on a network job.
I kind of had that come up today with Emmanuel Ferguson with the Conley Law Firm. Do we do him usually?
We do, absolutely.
Okay, good.
Because that happens all the time, and these folks don't want to be dealing with these larger firms for whatever reason, and it is what it is. But if they specifically ask you, can we order directly from you, you can tell them yes.
Dave, this is Kim.
Hey, Kim.
Hey, I had last week an attorney. He wanted to know, he wanted an invoice to see how much it was going to cost before he ordered it. How would we do that?
So the only way to do that is actually to send an email to Linda with the job number and the attorney and tell her they're looking for a quote.
Okay.
And just give her, the only information she's going to need is a number of pages or approximate number of pages of transcript and if there are any exhibits.
Okay.
And she can give them within a couple dollars an estimate.
And then my other question is the worksheets that I submitted to you, after listening to you today, I did the order part wrong. I did not realize it's because it said select one and I didn't realize I could add.
Mm-hmm.
I only did transcript orders. I didn't put the appearance on there because I thought, well, maybe the office just knows to do that. So do I need to go back and change all that?
Well, yeah. So if you've already completed those worksheets, what you can do is email Jennifer and copy me on it. Tell her the job numbers, and she can actually open those back up so that you can go in and modify the orders as needed.
Okay. Some jobs I turned in today actually finished everything. I don't know what's going to happen with those.
Yeah, well, they must not have gotten to them yet because they would have called and said, hey, I see that you've completed this stuff, but we don't see any orders in.
Okay, all right.
Okay.
Oh, that's a good question, David. So if we have a change in an order, I got one today. Of course, I didn't get it until after the office closed, but do I email Michelle? She's the one who sent me the email and say, she was trying to change order. An attorney called her and wanted to expedite.
Mm-hmm.
It's actually already in there, so.
Right. At that point, Michelle should have gone in. Can you mute yourself over there?
Yeah, I was going to.
Thanks. Michelle would have gone in and immediately changed the delivery by. So you should see in Service Link that it's been expedited, and then she would have notified you of that.
Okay, I've already turned the job in, though, before she got that order. So,
oh, you've already turned it in?
It's already in there.
Okay, well then we just need to notify the production department to get it out the door.
Okay, so I don't need to do anything with a new work.
No, because
Okay.
they'll update that order and put it as expedited.
Okay,
What-
super.
You remember what
Thank
job number was?
It was 11108.
Perfect. Okay, I'll get with them tomorrow about that. And then back to the question just before that regarding the estimate, find out if they want electronic and or paper, because she'll give them an estimate on the packaging cost too.
Dave, 2 points. One, on Jan's point, going forward though, if you had an order change and you were notified of it, you would send an email into the AWR box, which would notify the production department, and they would go ahead and get it out expedited. Also, on the network jobs where a attorney locally wants to order a copy, just make note of that in the checkout notes as well, and then we'll know for sure when we get it that he definitely is ordering a copy through us.
Right. This way we don't wonder, is this just an error that they put this in the order section? That's great.
Super. Thank you, gentlemen.
Yep. We'll do these occasionally till we're all smooth sailing. I will say that everybody's doing a really good job with it. I sent out an email to a couple reporters yesterday, but I'll just go ahead and tell everybody here, it's highly important that you put that estimated number of pages when you're checking out, because when I run the tracking report and see a bunch of zeros, I have no idea if you are just in the ditch buried with pages or not, or if there are a bunch of cancellations. So it's really important that we all do that in a timely manner.
Dave, this is Eric again.
Yep.
There's a question. I have a question. There's also a question from Susan. She's asking, in billings, is there a way to see the billing broken down by attorney who was charged for what?
Meaning looking at billings after it's already been paid. You know what? I'm not sure about that. I haven't delved too much into it. So I'll have to check on that, Susan.
Okay. My question was, the other day I had one and there was like 8 or 9 attorneys and only 3 ordered. Do we need to put them all down under attorneys present?
Yes. And the reason behind that is if one comes back down the road 4 months from now and says they want to order it, their information is already in there as being present, and we can just ship it right on out.
Okay, and Kelly just sent in a question that says, not sure if this has been answered or not. For network jobs, it was answered. For network jobs, do we put orders in under the network firm?
You do not. You go ahead and upload their worksheets. If they don't use a worksheet, you can use our old AWR network sheet that was kind of condensed down. And then you don't have to do anything under attorneys present or orders. The only time that you would put anything under orders is if they say we want to order it directly from you.
She said, thank you.
That condensed network worksheet does
Yeah.
not have a lot of information. For network jobs, I really need all the information so I'm properly, like addresses and stuff, so that I'm properly passing it on to the network firms.
Okay. Well, then, yeah, we'll probably have to use the other. I'm thinking about Susan's question. In billing, is there a way to see billing broken down? It should show up by attorney and should show exactly what they're charged, because it comes through individualized invoices.
So I was looking at it and all of the attorney's orders were in one item.
Was it a network job?
Oh, I don't remember, David. I'm sorry.
That's okay. Why don't you email me the job number for that, and I'll look at it. But I would think that would be a network job is why it's showing up that way. But I need to confirm.
Okay, that might be. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
My last one, Dave.
Yeah.
I remember you mentioned in the initial training that there's a way to suggest or request tweaks to the way Solaria is set up. Who do we send that to?
You can send those to me and copy a claim, or excuse me, support at a claim. I think it's acclaimlegal.com. Laura's got a question here. I can see the chats now. A little confused about appearance. We don't add any appearance for an everyday job. Just mark. No. You always put the appearance fee in there. So you do appearance fee and 0-1. So if you get to the job and it's a cancellation or there's a no-show and they don't do a statement or anything, you're going to put that appearance fee canceled after post arrival or whatever it said. If you get there and they take down 100 pages, you're still going to bill for your 0-1 and your appearance fee. So you're always paid for your time. So you put both of those in.
What if we haven't done that?
We're adding those in. I noticed that because we've all been pre-billing at night and on the weekends too. So I've seen all those. Don't worry, we're adding all that in. But going forward, be sure to keep those to put those in. All right, well, good. Well, let's. I think this is probably a good point to stop, and I'm sure we'll keep doing these every now and then just to kind of keep everybody on the same page. I'm gonna try and make it home so I can give the baby a little bath time, and I certainly appreciate everybody participating today. Dad, do you have anything else? Are you good? Okay. All right, guys, have a great night. Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys. See you later.